Rise of Skywalker is a new movie directed by J.J. Abrams, and this movie stars Daisy Ridley, Oscar Isaac, John Boyega, and an amazing and astonishing cast. The franchise is over. Over accumulation of films for the past 40 years, it has finally come to an end, and I finally saw Rise of Skywalker. Actually, I saw it last night, and I thought to myself, man, Rise of Skywalker. And then after leaving the theater, I thought to myself, I had to see it again. So I saw it again early this morning, and I thought to myself,
I'm thinking. It's not happening with him.
I'm not going to tell you what the movie's about, because this is an experience that you have to go and see. The Rise of Skywalker, I think it's a good film still. I think the main factor is you will be entertained. You will leave the theater feeling a little bit entertained. I wasn't upset of some of the choices they made, and I was satisfied with the performances. I was satisfied with a couple of character arcs. Structurally, this is a sloppy and messy film, and that was the main issue with it. I'll go further detail of my spoilers. One of the best things about this movie was its beautiful shots. The cinematography was pretty damn good, and I love the beautiful shots. The lightsaber battles in this movie was top notch. It was emotional. J.J. Abrams showed the physicality of the lightsaber fights. I really enjoyed that. I did like the direction they took Kylo Ren's character. There are some moments in this movie where I found like there's some nostalgia moments. You know, there's some fan service I felt like this movie had a lot of. And there are some really cool shots of nostalgia in this movie that I really appreciate. But that leads into some of the particular issues with the movie. I think the main flaw with this movie has to do with its story and how it's structured. In the beginning of the movie, it had this convoluted plot they introduced in like the first 30 minutes of the movie, where the film relied heavily on exposition and setup. The reasoning for it just doesn't mix with the confines of the movie if you compare it to the writing of The Last Jedi. Now, that's just me personally, because in The Force Awakens, it was all set up to a certain point. And then Rian Johnson came in and he had his own direction, and I felt like J.J. Abrams came in and he was like, oh man, look at all this junk around. I gotta put this right here, align this right here, align this right here. And it felt like this movie itself was trying to cater to the fans. It was trying to cater to the fans that went into The Last Jedi who had theories and had expectations. And when Rian Johnson subverted these expectations, they didn't like The Last Jedi, and I felt like the J.J. Abrams was trying to fix those expectations in this movie, and that made the movies feel like it was playing safe. It wasn't a detriment to the film, me personally. I accepted it, but I still have issues with it. And one of the main issues I have with this movie has to deal with the Palpatine plot. The fact of the matter is that Rey has all these Jedi abilities, and we've seen her Jedi abilities like accumulate, like increase in The Last Jedi. In this movie, they did a decent job of trying to explain of how Rey is able to have all these abilities, but they never gave much logic to the reasoning why she has all these abilities. She's just doing these abilities without no explanation. So it's like to the point where the director just didn't give two fucks about the logic and the physics. Pretty much just throw it all in and say, hey, look at all these cool, awesome Jedi shots. Awesome, cool shots. It's spectacular. You will like it, right? And I almost felt like watching The Phantom Menace when I was a kid. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not trashing it. I'm just saying when I was a kid, I was 7 years old walking into The Phantom Menace for the first time. And I remember when I was my 7-year-old self, I was like, man, that was cool. Seeing Obi-Wan Kenobi and Qui-Gon and Darth Maul doing the... That was really cool seeing it as a 7-year-old kid. And I was like, well, that was cool, yeah. So going into this movie, I felt like, yeah, there's be some really cool shots and awesome spectacular action sequences revolving around the Force, and you'd be like, yeah, that was cool. But how she's able to do that. It's not the worst movie of all time. No, it's not. It has issues. It has issues, it has problems, and it has flaws. But if the flaws outweighs your enjoyment of the film, that is basically up to the person who is watching the movie. But for me personally, the issues doesn't outweigh my enjoyment of the movie. I still think it's a good movie, but probably not a movie I would be watching for a third time because of its story and elements that I just find a huge issue with, that kind of rubs me the wrong way. I accepted it for what it is, and I accepted it for based off its merits. So I could still say this is an entertaining film. This is a good movie that you can enjoy. For the issues with the film, the results may vary. I will go into detail with a spoiler. But yes, this was a disappointing film, but still, the best way to describe this movie was a beautiful lie. That's the best way to describe this movie. A beautiful lie. I'm going to give The Rise of Skywalker a Michael Keaton Batman. It's a movie you can watch. Rise of Skywalker. So I will have a spoiler. I'll hopefully have a spoiler out sometime early next week. Stay tuned for that. And I'll see you guys in the next review. So what are your thoughts on Star Wars? Comment below and let's talk about it. Have you seen The Rise of Skywalker? What are your thoughts? Comment below and let's talk about it. And I'll see you guys in the next review. And stay tuned for the spoiler. Alright guys, thank you for watching. If you like everything you see and you agree, subscribe to my channel and join me in the Batman family. I'll have more Batman-tastic reviews on the way. You have been warned. Till then, may the Force be with you.